Hey, it's Lisa Kent. I am here from Lisa Kent's Fit to Fly coaching. It's awful late tonight. It's been one of those days again. I'm back here for a really quick little talk. Yesterday, we talked about taking the skills and taking us to the beach. Today, I want to tell you how I used them and ended up in the tropical rainforest in Costa Rica. It was 4 days. I only had 4 days to stick together, but I was able to put together a 4-day trip to Costa Rica. I started by using the skills where I had so much to buy an airline ticket. Where could I go? And I wanted it to be somewhere exciting. I had a passport. I wanted it to be international. I found Costa Rica. Now, Costa Rica, you can either go to the beach. I just been to the beach. Thank you. Or you can get back and you can go to the middle part. In the middle part, it's the Central Plain, and in the Central Plain, you can visit within, like staying in San Jose, which is the main city in the Central Plain. You can visit volcanoes. You can visit the rainforest. It's in the middle of coffee plantations. It had all these things right there. Now, I had to travel by myself. So I was going down into the foreign country by myself. I thought I'll contact someone there and see what I can do. I went in and I took a look and see, who would have this. I went into the website for the hotel, and I found TAM Travel. And Ronald and I emailed for weeks. He put together 3 days of tours, guided tours with a group, because it's just me, myself. So I got to go with people, talk to the people, hear about the country, hear about the places that we went. It was very well balanced. Not only did I schedule things so that I would keep going and see things and not just sit around and be afraid to go out, but I also left spaces so that not everything was overlapping, and there was plenty of time to go from one to the other. I also did my little routines for about a month and a half before, built up my endurance, because in order to travel like this, you have to be able to walk, climb steps, climb inclines. You have to be in the best that you can be in order to enjoy it the most. So we went ahead and went down. I flew Delta Comfort. Because that gave me that little extra security. Because I was all by myself. I had a bin. I knew where I was. It was very good. We got there, met, and I was exhausted. I had nothing planned the first day. Because when you leave reality and you get into travel, there's always that last push. It was wonderful. I rested that afternoon, started into the tours the next day. He planned a nice tour, and it turned out really well. The first day, coffee plantation, very, very interesting. Learned everything about it. I had everything brought home for the souvenirs taken care of. Brought everybody coffee. It was lovely. Then I have to worry. Then later on that day, we went to a place called the La Paz Water Gardens. It is almost like a zoo, but everything is in a natural habitat. But you could see things. I got to see the frogs. I got to see the hummingbirds. I got to see the butterflies. And they would have these wonderful interpreters, bilingual, English, Spanish, or Spanish, English. It was wonderful, and you got into the feeling of the country, the language, the rhythm, the tastes. It was just amazing. Next day, actually put the hiking shoes on, put the boots on, went out early in the morning into San Jose, into the main city, changed buses, went out into the rainforest. We started on the river. We went through the river because that's where we saw the animals. So they told us all about the animals. We went animal spotting. They come down to the river, and we're not a threat. We're in the middle. Then we hiked. Hiking, we're looking for those things I saw yesterday. So I'm showing them what the frogs look like. We're looking at cicadas. Not that I need to see cicadas. Tennessee has cicadas. Thank you. Then the last part, you get into a tram, and you go way up into the canopy. Then half of us, for those guys who are really, really adventurous, take zip lines. They take you and they put you in the little suit and they give you a hard hat. You get into the canvas, you hold on, and you zip from one platform to the other. Now where we went, we rode the canopy. By riding the tram through the top in the canopy, we were able to see all of the fauna and a couple of vipers. He pointed out a couple of vipers like hiding in the trees. It looked like Jurassic Park, honestly. Their big fern trees were the same fern trees that were here in this forest when the dinosaurs populated this particular part. It was amazing. It gave me both hands free. It was exactly what I needed to do. Next day, we get a little bit more adventurous. Got to see a volcano. Now, right before we left, there's always a twist. Right before we left, we had a twist. In that twist, the volcano called La Paz, that had been here for millenniums, decided 2 weeks before I went down there to explode. Yes, we could not go see that volcano. It became active just 2 weeks. We got in a bus, though, and we went way out, about 4 hours out, to the Arenal volcano. That had exploded in 1968, and it took quite a few lives when it exploded. Quite a few things of lava came down. So we went to see this, and man, I'm huffing and puffing and going up the steps going, I am so glad that I am fit to travel, fit to fly. And then we got up there, and it's this gorgeous volcano, beautiful lake. Next part of the trip, well, I'm traveling alone. There's some trips that you can take alone. There's some trips you have to have two. Well, this one had a spa attached to it. I am not a spa person. I have not worn a bathing suit in 25 years. So I had to put on a bathing suit in a foreign country in front of all these people that I didn't even know. And it was the most amazing thing. When you are open and you are traveling and you're opening to new experiences, I never thought, but they had these little tiny grottos way up in the hills, waterfalls, hummingbirds, all this just beautiful nature. And I was able to go up. The hot springs are mineral springs. They come out from the volcano. Then there are cold springs that are rainwater springs from the rainforest. You go back and forth. I was up there for a good half hour, 45 minutes before anybody got up that far. It was amazing. I was so wonderfully happy that I had tried something new, using those skills of gauging my money, my time, who I'm traveling with. I was traveling alone, how much time I had there, and balancing the planned things to do as well as the open time. And then the last thing I want to tell you about was a pièce de résistance. In the morning, when I woke up with the radio. I left that radio on all the time. It had the most incredible, beautiful Spanish music from the country. Just, I couldn't understand a word of it, but it was wonderful, and it made you feel like you were really there. Music, culture, speaking to people, meeting the people on the tours. There were people from Germany. There were people from Ecuador. There was a teacher from over in the East Coast. You just, all these people when you get to know them. Traveling expands you in more ways than just here. It also expands your heart. So, that was the beach. This was 4 days and a big old rainforest. What other things can we do? I'll talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. And until then, keep going, because when you travel, you want to be fit to fly. It's Lisa Kent from Fit to Fly Coaching, and I wish you a good evening.